Hello, how you doing? We are here in Auckland. We have made it to the New Zealand launch of the CFMOTO 450 MT, or the MT 450, whichever way you want to do it. We're going to find out more information about this bike as the day goes on, but there they are behind me. Let's go and have a closer look.
Hi.
Ben, editor, Kiwi Rider magazine.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Are you any better after sitting on that bike for the first time?
Yeah, I'm actually really quite impressed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
First impressions, first sit?
First sit, comfy, relatively light feeling, not super light, but I think we knew that from the specs. I'm liking the flip in, flip out mirrors. That's one of the first things I saw. It's like that's something everyone upgrades to. Just flip them in when you ride, off-road, flip them back out on the road. Easily adjustable screen and a really nice accessible ABS off button, which will please a lot of riders.
Okay, quickfire stats on the CFMOTO 450 MT. We've got a seat height of 820mm, that's lowerable to 800mm, and there's an optional higher seat at 870mm high. We've got alloy spoked wheels, 21-inch in the front, 18-inch in the rear, and both of them are tubeless, which is excellent. We've got a Bosch traction control system. Bosch also supply the ABS, which is switchable to the rear wheel, and you can turn that traction control off as well. 17.5 litre fuel tank. We've got a USB-C, USB-A charging port, which is an 18-watt charger as well. A full TFT, beautiful curved display. Rally-style adjustable windshield. We've got KYB adjustable suspension, and 220mm of ground clearance. So this is a great bike. This is well set up. They've gone to town on this. They've really looked at what people are asking for, and they've supplied. So let's get out on a ride on the CFMOTO 450 MT. Okay, so it is a 450cc or 439cc, no, 449cc, I should be quite clear. Riding out now following Jock McLaughlin, Kiwi Riders test rider, and of course Jeff Osborne, who is the chief photographer. Can't see a thing in the wing mirrors. It's got adjustable wing mirrors, which is nice out of the box for a adventure bike. A lot of people add on adjustable mirrors. Oh, it's quite a soft ride. Soft, not bad soft, good soft. Up to an 80k zone, doing 80k's. Red line's at 8,500 revs. Get the revs up above about 4,000 to 5,000 and she moves. Gets up to 100. Well enough. Alright, I'm going to do a wind on. Second gear, 50 kilometers an hour, 6,000 revs. Fourth gear, 5,000 revs. Wind it on. It's got enough power to move.
even fifth gear at 65 k's an hour, it still accelerates when you wind the throttle on. I mean, it's got a bit of torque. It's actually hard to believe, almost hard to believe, that this is a 450. Clutch is very light. Oh, it's got a hell of an exhaust tone. It's actually got quite a noisy exhaust. A little bit of turbulence. I think the screen's in the high position. Let's see. Yeah, we'll drop it down. Had the screen in the high position, was hitting the helmet peak and causing a bit of turbulence. In the lower position, the air is now coming in under the peak. And it's a good thing you can adjust that screen from the seat while you're riding. Brakes are pretty respectable for single disc fronts. Seat comes down the sides quite nicely, so when you're standing, you've got a nice padded bit of seat to grip onto with your knees. And I can get right up over the front instrument tower. Well, these two riders, Jock and Jeff, they don't muck about. They know these roads. The bars are nice and wide in that I can really just muscle it into a corner. It's kind of ticked all the boxes for what people want, I think. It's definitely going to be modified. People are going to put their own touch, their own flavor on these bikes. But at $9,990 plus on-road costs, this is an excellent starting position. And just being a bit bigger, that 450, it just gives it the extra little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of go, a little bit more street cred, a bit more open road ability for the likes of the 390s and the 300s. Hello. All right, trying a little bit of off-road, a little bit of grass. Yeah, it's controllable. It's not unwieldy. First gear's got a little bit of torque to it. One thing I have noticed is that the clutch is very, very light. I don't feel like I have an awful lot of feeling through the clutch.
First thoughts?
It's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Straight up.
It's straight up. It's a really nice bike.
On-road, off-road,
As
gravel.
Craig was saying, he was started thinking like it's a really nice bike for 10 grand. Forget the 10 grand. It's a really nice bike. Period.
Okay, just been for a ride. First ever ride on the CFMOTO 450 MT. And apologies if I said MT 450, because it is not the MT 450. It is the 450 MT. And if you ever see MT 450 on the internet, they got it wrong. Surprisingly peppy, first thoughts. 80 k's an hour in sixth will still accelerate. Has a very, very linear power curve from 3000 RPM. Has quite a light clutch. Not a whole lot of feel in the clutch, but very light. It's not going to give you any hand cramp or anything like that. Pretty easy bike to ride, pretty easy bike to shift. It's a nice bike. It's a really good bike, and I don't think it needs to be justified. $10,000. It's not a nice bike for $10,000. As Jock said, it's a really good bike. This is going to give the Honda 300s, the KTM 390s, and that sort of thing a run for its money, I think. It's a solid bike. Hey team, still in Auckland. It's a couple of days later since the launch of the CFMOTO 450 MT, and I thought I'd share some thoughts because I've had a couple of days to stew this over. I've had a fair bit of time to stew this over too, because I'm sitting in a rental car, a Tesla, and I've never driven a Tesla before, but I thought I'd get one and test it out. And man, you spend a lot of time in petrol stations waiting for the thing to charge. So while we're waiting for this thing to charge, let's talk about the 450 MT. There's been a lot of buzz on the internet about this bike being the unicorn because apparently it was so light. 170 odd kgs dry. Works out at like 202, 205 kgs wet. Which means I don't think the CFMOTO 450 MT is going to be the unicorn. However, that's not to say that it isn't a very, very well set up bike. I expect this bike to sell in great numbers, but I think the thing for New Zealanders that's going to hinder it is the fact that it's Chinese. I don't think that's a problem for me. At $10,000, it is a very well set up bike. But I know that there is it xenophobia? I know there's a lot of that out there. People just go, oh, it's Chinese, it's shit. Get over that. Because bear in mind that I've only had a first ride on the 450 MT. I've seen it for a day, I've ridden it for a couple of hours in very controlled environments, situations. But I have had a bit of a play of it off-road. It felt like the Tenere 700. It felt like a slightly smaller Tenere 700. It was low. I could get my, at 820 millimeters seat height, I could flat foot, feet on the ground, both sides. Great. That seat will go down to 800 mil without any actual modification or changing of the seat. You just lower it. Lower the linkage. So that's fantastic. It's a smaller engined, slightly smaller but definitely lower version of a Tenere 700. From my limited riding and my limited experience with it, you go looking for things and you can see where they've saved money. We were walking around it during the launch going, where have they saved the money? And I mean, some of the welds, there's just a little bit of splatter that hasn't been cleaned off. Or there's one front brake disc instead of two. Those tyres are an unheard of brand, but they're kind of like a Pirelli STR copy. In fact, I think I said on the podcast that they're STRs. They're not. They're no-name brands. I've never heard of them before. But there's a few places where they've saved the money, but then they've given you so much more. If you put that bike side by side with the Tenere 700, the CFMOTO has adjustable screen, tubeless tyres, adjustable suspension. Yeah, the Tenere's got adjustable suspension too, but KYB suspension even. It's a great bike. And yeah, it may only have one front disc, but man, those brakes pull up the bike something chronic. I thought they were fantastic. And I hit the bike in the top third of the rev range like the whole day. Even in 6th gear at 60 kilometers an hour, the thing will pull. The thing will accelerate. I got on it and went, oh, it's not very powerful. But you got to remember that I've been riding a Tenere 700, an MT-07, and lately a GSX 8S. You know, bigger engine bikes, 700, 689, 788 cc bikes. That 400. I think if you are wanting to get into adventure riding, but you probably, if you were me 10 years ago on your learner or restricted license but wanted to get out on the dirt and have one bike to do it all, I reckon the CFMOTO 450 MT would be a fantastic contender for that. It would potentially do it all. It does require more riding, but at this stage I think it's definitely got potential. I think CFMOTO is a brand to watch because they're doing good things. Go and ride the CFMOTO 450 MT. Do it. Go and ride it. See if you agree. What do you think? Pop it in the comments below. Love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. I'm a little bit tired, a little bit blurry-eyed, and I've got 20 minutes to go until this thing is charged and I can go back to the hotel. Then it's sleep time. Then it's up at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning to fly back to Wellington. And next week on the channel, we've got another launch. Will it be next week? It probably might be next week. It'll be whenever I get the video edited, but it's coming up. So hit that subscribe button. Come along for the ride. Chuck 22 in the comments box below if you've watched all the way through. Thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. I do this for you guys because I do it for myself because I enjoy it, but I really like the support from you guys, and I'm babbling now. So righto, I'm out of here. Hooroo.